we only have like 3 weeks. I don't know if you've looked at the calendar, but we literally, I only meet with you guys. Don't cheer, don't cheer. All right, you should be sad. I only meet with you guys like 9 more times before the final. And the other thing that I want to point out, we're not doing a test in here, right? Final for all my classes is just projects. So like these assignments that we do. That's what I'm going to be expecting you guys to be working on our final day. But here we go. So you should have 6 portrait shots, 6 portrait photos, and in Photoshop I've got this one right here, just from the Pepper Alley. Oh no, a couple months ago, maybe last. I can't remember when this was. This is one of my yearbook students. They shot this one. Okay, and it's a little dark. And what's one of the tips I want to give you guys. After you shoot, I want you to go up here and I want you to play with either the brightness and contrast of the photo, or I like to use levels. All right, the levels of the photo, again, you go to image and adjustments and you click levels. Show you the lights, the dark pixels, and everything kind of in between. So I can take my levels right here. And you can see that you have these little slide bars, these little triangles right here, and you can move them around and see how it affects the actual photo, right? So you can make that much more dramatic, much more impactful photo. I don't really want to wash it out like this. I kind of like how dark it is in some areas, so I think I'm going to leave it like that, right there. I'm going to hit OK. You can hit OK when you're done, and there it is. Okay, so I've leveled my image. If you ever want to go back in time, you can always go to your history window just by going to window and clicking on history, or if you know what the actual icon looks like, it's this guy right here, and I can go back and undo this and see what it used to look like. You see how it's kind of washed out. It's all kind of like grayish, and by leveling this image or using brightness and contrast, basically doing the same thing. You can really make it. You can pop those different levels of light and dark in your photos. I also want you to use the crop tool. Now, the crop tool allows you to really zone in on what's super important in your photo. Okay, so you don't want to you want to eliminate what's not working for you. So I'm going to use the crop tool right here. And the way that we can use the crop tool is you can literally just click and drag, and it'll get rid of whatever's outside of this box. Okay, so do this. Did you notice that when I started to use the crop tool, what is this called? You guys remember this? It's called the rule of thirds. That's right, right? So you can get the Highlander on that line right there. And maybe get rid of her shoe. It's not really important. Can you even go like that? If you drag the photo inside this box, you can move it around. You have all the options with that crop tool. So I want you to use that crop tool and really focus on what's important. Once you're done, you can hit this little check mark, and that will complete the crop, or you can hit the Enter key on the keyboard. So that's one thing. So we got levels or brightness and contrast. We got the crop tool, which I want you to experiment with. We can also do adjustment layers. Okay, you can, let's go with color balance. Okay, when we do color balance to an image, we can boost up those colors, creating a different effect. A lot of times on movies, they will shoot during the day, but then they'll put in lots of blues on top of their image and make it look like it's at night, like it's in the moonlight. You can also change the feeling of this image, adding in yellows and greens. Really, it's up to you. But I want you to play around with adjustment layers right there. Okay? Any questions about that? You can also do, let's do gradient overlay. Let's see what that happens here. Okay, so a gradient overlay allows us to put in a gradient color on top of our image. So nothing really happens there. But if we start to blend this with the image beneath it, just another way of highlighting that figure. So try that out as well. I really want you to experiment and see what happens with all of these images. See what kind of a feeling you can create just by editing them later on in Photoshop. You guys get it? That makes sense? None of your photos, none of the 6 photos should be the original shot. I want you to edit each and every single one of them. Okay? So that's what you can be working on right now. You can do any of the things that I just showed you guys on the screen, or you can work on geometrics. You got lots of stuff that you're able to do today, okay? Any questions? All right, let's get to it.